Honestly, the fact that this game is free is a complete steal. I really wasn't expecting it to be anywhere near as good as it actually is, to be honest. Admittedly, I did go into the game completely blind, so I didn't really know what it was going to be initially. Anyway, I was kind of expecting like either like a demo like thing or like a terrible free to play multiplayer game. You know, one of those really bad ones. Either way, I didn't exactly have too high hopes for this, but God, was I wrong. I was so wrong with that. And honestly, I'm really happy I was. I'm really happy that I was like very wrong with this. Yeah, the first thing we do see when we go into the game is a disclaimer slash content warning. This game has some very dark themes and events, so because if you're not comfortable with themes of suicide and self harm, maybe it's best if you skip this game and even video, since the whole story is focused around those themes. It's very much focused on very dark themes. So if you're not comfortable with that, I would suggest maybe not playing the game or watching the video. But yeah, anyway, at the very beginning, you start out playing as this woman trying to find someone called Maya, and yeah, you end up being in this like massive abandoned building trying to find her, which she's supposed to be here. She's supposed to be here, so that's why you're here, you're trying to find her. As you try to piece together what's going on, you do find out that Maya is already dead, and she has been dead for a while. Which, yeah, um, it's really weird. We do find out that she unfortunately took her own life in that same building that you're in. I should also mention that the character's phone and social media play a huge part in this game, as you might have seen from the footage. Since since it's based around it's based around how social media and modern technology can be quite bad for people's mental health, especially for younger generations. Because it's essentially a big factor and a big theme about this game is how people look into social media for like, approval, essentially, so like likes and whatnot, and yeah, like how like mental struggles of people going through that, of like trying to get that high essentially of approval, really. Yeah, throughout the game, you slowly learn that the main character that you play as struggles a lot with her own mental health struggles. It shows how she struggles to deal with past traumas and negativity slash expectations from people on social media. Honestly, I think it does a very good job with showing how bad it can get and how it really does affect people. Because like for the most part, it does games do tend a lot of games tend to kind of have this out of touch feel with it. A lot of games tend, especially when it comes to like most struggles, to be honest, it a lot of games tend to feel quite out of touch with things, you know. And I feel like this does a pretty good job with it. And yeah, going back to like the whole your main character struggling with own mental health and struggles. Yeah, like she you can tell she very much struggles to get like approval from people, because you can tell she does not. Yeah, you can tell. like fairly fair like actually really she really struggles with it. You can tell she does, and honestly, like it's quite sad to see sometimes. Sometimes it's very sad to see like how badly it affects some of these people, like some of these characters especially, because like God, it really takes a hold of them sometimes, and like you can I say sometimes, you know what I mean. There's also themes of like jealousy there of with the main character. There's a lot of like jealousy there of other people essentially. She it plays into like social media how as well how she'll see other people getting like loads of followers, loads of likes and pictures, loads of attention, and she's kind of being left behind essentially because she's like different or whatnot. She's not like most people. It's essentially one of those it's one of those types of situations where she doesn't feel like she's getting the attention she wants or whatever, and yeah, she really struggles to accept that social media is not. You shouldn't judge your life on social media essentially, and yeah, I can. It's quite difficult watching her struggle with that. So I'm thinking you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't over obsess with what people think of you on the internet. And once you get into that mindset, it's quite hard to get out of it. But so I understand. I understand why how hard it is to get out of that mindset, but it's quite difficult watching it, knowing that knowing that it's not necessarily good for people to have that mindset. But yeah, anyway, from a gameplay point of view, it's almost like a spiritual successor to PT, which to be honest, I am absolutely gutted I never got to play. But like seeing like gameplay of it and whatnot, like it looks and seems like it's a spiritual successor to that game. For the majority of the gameplay is completely fine, and it honestly is it's really good for the most part. And yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good for the most part. It's completely fine for what the type of game that it is. You know, there's some puzzles you have to figure out, which is again as the gameplay. There's sometimes we're being chased by this weird creature made of flowers, and it's honestly really cool and it works really well for this game. It's quite scary. But again, it's like again, as saying, it's a spiritual successor to P. It is a spiritual successor to PT. You've sort of find it's because obviously it's quite tight. There's a lot of corridors in there. It's very it's it's very claustrophobic. If that's the right word for this. Yeah, it just works really well. It works really well. It really leans into that horror aspect of it. But saying that, there's this one part of the game that I really do not like. I really don't like that being the part where you're being chased by one of those monsters in a kind of like maze where you have to find like 3 or 4 pictures of like your friends and whatnot. It's not great for the visibility in this one part isn't great, so it becomes a bit tedious quite quickly, and it honestly got to the point where it stopped being scary and stopped being fun and just became more annoying more than anything else. And to be honest, it does kind of drag the game down a little bit, which absolutely sucks since the rest of the game is genuinely quite good. And yeah, it sucks, but you know that's one bad part in this entire thing. You know, like I think I think most people will, me included, be willing to overlook that. But it is what it is. But yeah, yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna probably leave it there. But I think if, again, that it honestly surprises me that this game's free. Like, I would have happily paid like 15 quid for this. Like, this came, if it, again, the fact that it's shadow dropped being free is impressive. Like if this came out and said like, yeah, we're releasing this little like 3 to 4 like 3 hour game, it's like 10 quid. Like, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, like, sweet. I would be happily I would have happily paid for this. And the fact that they release it for free, it's genuinely, I love the fact that it's free. But yeah, I did stream this whole game on Twitch, so if you do want to check me out over on there, go give me a follow. Obviously, like and subscribe while you're here as well. So yeah, if you've made it this far, obviously, again, like, subscribe, and yeah, hopefully I'll see all you guys in the next video. Peace.